Hello, all of you. I'll start with where I left in the last class. We saw that on the basis of language, Andhra Pradesh was carved out of Tamil Nadu. The Telugu speaking part was made into a separate state called Andhra Pradesh. That was the first state that was created on the basis of language. Now, the decision of the national leadership was challenged by local leaders and the people, which means the local did not like it. Protests began in Telugu speaking areas of the old Madras province, which included present day Tamil Nadu, parts of Andhra, Kerala, and Karnataka. And there was this Vishalandhra movement as the movement for a separate Andhra state, demanded that the Telugu speaking area should be separated from the Madras province of which they were a part and be made into a separate Andhra province. Nearly all the political force in Andhra region were in favor of linguistic reorganization of the then Madras province. So those people who used to speak Telugu in Tamil Nadu, there is Tamil. In Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, there is Telugu. So those who used to speak Telugu language, they wanted that they should have a state of their own, separate from Tamil Nadu. That is why it's written that the Telugu speaking parts of Madras province, Madras at that time was a province. Madras today is known as Chennai. Chennai is the capital of Tamil Nadu. So that time it was not Chennai, it was Madras, it was a province. Those people who used to speak Telugu language, they wanted a separate state for themselves, and there were protests and there were agitations going on in that state. So protests started, and the movement gathered momentum as a result of the central government vacillation. See, government said that we will reorganize the states. We will draw the internal map of India. The borders will be created. States borders will be created on the basis of language. The first state reorganization committee was established, and Pottisimulu, a Congress leader and a veteran Gandhian, went on an indefinite fast that led to his death after 56 days. Imagine Simalu fasted for 56 days and died because he wanted a separate province for his Telugu speaking regions. So this caused great unrest and resulted in violent outburst in the Andhra region. People in large number took to the streets, many were injured, lost their lives. So you see, there was a perfect chaos-like situation, a complete anarchy because someone has died and he was a Congress leader. It was the Congress who was ruling the center, but Jawaharlal Nehru was the prime minister. So his own party leader, a very senior leader, a senior Congress leader, went on an indefinite fast because he wanted a separate state and he died in that process. So there was a kind of complete for a few days there was like complete uh, not exactly anarchy but anarchy like situation. Law and order was going for a toss. People were out there on the streets, violent crashes. And now, you know, when people come out on the street and they start protest, they start damaging public property, what will the government do? Government will bring on the police, the armed forces, the paramilitary, and then there will be a confrontation. So it's not a very favorable situation at any point of time when the government has to use its own law agencies against its own people. So finally, the Prime Minister announced the formation of separate Andhra state in December 1952. This was after Simulu died. So you see, in 61, the India after the reorganization administrative map of 1961, you see, here you have, there, this is what we were talking about. This was Madras. And then this Andhra Pradesh region, these were the Telugu speaking parts. Earlier it was one Madras province. So this part was carved out. It was taken out and it was turned into a separate state. There the borders were the Madras. Then there was this Mysore province. Today it is known as Karnataka. And then Andhra Pradesh. Now Andhra Pradesh again has been divided into Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, but that is a very late development. So this is how it happened. And again, see this cartoon, a very perfectly captures that contemporary situation of those times. Prime Minister Nehruji is sitting here, and see, someone wants Brihan Maharashtra, someone wants Samyukt Karnataka, someone wants Mahagujarat, someone wants Vishal Andhra. So like we have studied in the last class that there were 565 princely states. Sardar Patel did a Herculean task to unite them. Now you see as many as 565 people standing in this cartoon, and all of them wants a new state. So Prime Minister is in a dilemma. If it opens up a Pandora box. I hope you know what is a Pandora box. So if you agree with one demand that we will create Andhra Pradesh, now there will be demand for Mahagujarat, Sanyukt Karnataka, Brihan Maharashtra. Now today there is a demand for Vidarbha, Harit Pradesh, Gorkha land, so on and so forth. It will in Bihar you have demand for Mithilanchal. So where will this end? Are we again going back to 565 states? So this is what this impression is, cartoon by Shankar, and you might get a question in your board exam regarding this. So please understand this cartoon in the context. This is the Potti Srimallu who fasted and died. So formation of Andhra spurred the struggle for making of other states on linguistic lines in other parts of the country. These struggle forced the central government into appointing a state reorganization commission in 1953 to look into the question of redrawing the boundaries of state. So this is what the center did. They appointed a commission. It was named State Reorganization Commission in 1953. What would it do? It would look into the question of redrawing of the boundaries of the state. Which state? Tamil Nadu from here to here, Andhra Pradesh from here to here, Punjab from here to here, Haryana again out of Punjab, Maharashtra was Gujarat was made out of Maharashtra. So it was the work of the commission to look into these matters and then recommend which state would start from here and end where, and which new state will be coming out of which old state. So this is what the commission was to do. And on the basis of its report, the State Reorganization Act was passed in 1956. This led to the creation of 14 state and 16 union territories. So please remember this fact, very important for all the exams concerned, wherever this NCERT book is involved, that on the basis of State Reorganization Commission of 1953, which was formed to look into the question of redrawing of the state's boundary, the State Reorganization Act against means a law. When I say act, it means a law passed by the parliament. The commission did its work. It went into the studies, it went into all the regions, talked to people, got off got the impression what they want, and on the basis of it prepared a report. It's a very detailed report. You have the picture in this book. And then it report went to the government passed a law in the parliament. So once the government passes a law, it becomes an act. So State Reorganization Act was passed in 1956. See, commission was formed in 53. It might have taken 1 to 2 years to study and then prepare a report. So by 54, the report came. By 56, the law was passed. So that led to the creation of 14 states and 6 union territories. See, Nehru and other leaders were very popular, yes. And yet the people did not hesitate to agitate for linguistic state against the wishes of the leaders, yes. So that's what happens. Uh, Currently we have a very popular prime minister, but then again you see the protests are going on. As in now I'm speaking to all of you, there are protests going on in this country. So this applied to everything. This applies to all the leaders, whether Nehruji or Modiji. Protest will happen, and yes, governments does listen to the what the protesters are saying and acts accordingly. Now how this protest should shape up, that's actually beyond the scope of this text, so I'll not go into this. There is a Supreme Court judgment to that order that a right to protest is not an absolute right, and you should protest only at the designated site. Do not sit in the middle of the road. This is what the Honorable Supreme Court of India has said. So but no point discussing it because we are discussing NCERTs. I'll discuss it in some other video. Now you see here, here you see the genie. Now State Reorganization Commission has, it's like a genie which came out of the, you all know the story of Aladdin and this genie. So the genie would one day say that give me something to do, otherwise I'll eat you up. So the now the task is how to put this genie back. As I told you, the Pandora box, I'll tell you what the Pandora story is. I learned it in my school English book. There was this girl called Pandora who was given a box, and she was asked to not open it, but out of sheer curiosity she opened it out, and all the ills that we see in the world came out of it: disease, depression, whatever bad things are in world, violence, you know whatever, sexual abuse, rape, everything, murder came out of it. Out of that box, social evils, societal evils came in the world. So she was sitting in a very dejected way that I was rightly asked not to open this box. Then hope came out of it, and hope said that I'll stay with the mankind as long as the troubles will. So that's why it said that Pandora box. Once you open that box, you don't know what out will come out of it. Once you created Andhra Pradesh, where are you going to stop? There are demands coming out from all the state. Who will put the genie back into that bottle? The genie is out of the bottle. So this is the symbolically these cartoons are conveying the same thing which I just told you. Now see, this was the report of the State Reorganization Commission of 1955. You see, that was the cover face, the face of that very report. And one of the most important concerns in the early years was the demand for separate state would endanger the unity of the country. As I told you, it took Sardar Patel did a very massive task of uniting those 565 princely states. What if we again go back to such numbers? Then will India survive? It will again get fragmented into small pieces. It was felt that linguistic states may foster separatism and create a pressure on newly founded nation. See, language is a very emotive issue. It's not only with India. If at any stage you study world history, there you will see the Balkan states. You know, and in USSR also. One of the reasons why USSR disintegrated in 1991 was because it was pushing a Russian language more than any other language. There was Uzbekistan, there was Czechoslovakia, all these were part of USSR. But you were imposing only the Russian language. It became one of the reasons, not the only reason. There were a lot many other reasons why USSR disintegrated. So language all over the world is a very emotive issue. In India also it is. So it was felt that are we going forward to have new countries on the basis of language? Will the unity and integrity of India remain intact, or will it just wither away under pressure of linguistic kind of aspirations? The leadership under popular pressure finally made a choice in favor of linguistic state. So leadership, again, you saw that the protests were going on. One of the Congress leaders died. So they said that yes, we will go for linguistic state, and it was hoped that if we accept the regional and linguistic claims of all regions, the threat of separatism and division would be reduced. So it was also felt that if we create it, so they are not saying that we want to be we want a separate country, we want a different state. So if the different state demand is met, maybe they will happily remain a part of India. This is also what was thought at that time. So beside the accommodation of regional demand and the formation of linguistic were also seen as more democratic. So the new states will have certain autonomous functions to do. There will be a state government, they will act, legislate, make policies on the state list. So yes, it is also seen as a democratic thing that yes, we'll give you more states, do things that you wish as per the Constitution of India, and it will kind of curtail the separatist tendencies. So if you don't give them a new state, maybe they will tomorrow ask for a new country, that they are neglecting our all demands, so we want to be away from India. So now it more than 50 years since the formation of linguistic states, we can say that linguistic states and the movement for the formation of these states changed the nature of democratic politics and leadership in some basic ways. Of course it did. Part to politics and power was now open to people other than the small English speaking elite. Why we are saying so? Imagine the condition in 1950s. The literacy rate in India was very low. Not everyone could speak English or communicate very fluently like me and you can do right now. So people who were not very elite, who were not very well off, who were not decently educated, even they got a massive say in the politics. Because if new states are made on the basis of language, these states are playing their part in the politics. How? There are certain fixed seats in Lok Sabha. Currently, there are 543 seats in the Lok Sabha. So some seats will go to the new states. So if Andhra Pradesh has been made out of Madras province, maybe 14 to 15 seats, I am unable to recall the total number of Andhra Pradesh Lok Sabha seats. In Indian Lok Sabha, you have 543 seats. So this new state will have some of those 543 seats. So they are impacting those seats. I hope you understood. So this is how it was seen, that they are getting some kind of empowerment, despite not being so well educated, so not very well versed in English language or whatever proximity to Delhi or whatever the reason be, they still have their say. So linguistic organization also gave uniform basis to the drawing of the state boundaries. It did not lead to disintegration of country as many had feared earlier. On the contrary, it strengthened national unity. So today, Andhra Pradesh is also a very important part of India. So is Tamil Nadu. So both these states are still very important parts of India. It's not like they want to go away from India. They want a separate country. So this linguistic tendency did not manifest in form of secessionist movement that is called for a separate nation. So the linguistic state underlined the acceptance of principle of diversity because India is a very diverse country. In North India, Hindi is spoken. In South India, they have their own languages. So yes, linguistically different. Culturally, there are some differences. And then lifestyle, the food that you eat, the clothes that you wear, all of them differ. So when we say that India adopted democracy, it does not simply mean that India embraced a democratic constitution, nor does it merely mean that India adopted the format of election. No, democracy is not about periodic elections through a constitution. People must have their say. If they do not agree with certain things, they can kind of articulate that. Okay, you can make your voice heard to the government will listen to you and then act accordingly if that demand is legitimate. Now who decides that? Of course the governments and the courts will. So the choice was larger than that. It was a choice in favor of recognizing and accepting the existence of difference, which could at times be oppositional. Democracy, in other words, was associated with plurality of ideas and way of life. So democracy is not like one monolithic entity that whatever I say is the correct thing, whatever I like is the best thing. No, there can be things which I do not like, but then I have to accept it. I am reminded of a quote from Voltaire. He said, I disagree with what you say, but I will defend till death of your right to say it. I think this is the essence of democracy. No, that has to be legitimate. Okay, it's not like I do not like you, so I'll slap you. No, I have my opinion, you have your opinion. We both can coexist. Let us agree to disagree. So, this is what it says, that there can be different languages, there can be different preferences from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Assam to Arunachal. But yes, people are one, the country is one. It accommodates also all those differences. It makes us more diverse, more pluralistic. There is this word being used here, I guess. Yes, pluralistic. Pluralistic here means that it's not singular, it's more plural. The choice was larger than this, and it was a choice in favor of recognizing and accepting the existence of differences which are oppositional. So plurality is there. It's not like one. There are more than one ways of looking at things. So much of the politics in the later period was to take place within this framework. So this gave a basis for a base for a coexistence of different ideas. Okay, a lot of things will happen, which we'll see in the later parts of this chapter in this book. So let us see some questions here. Which among the following statement about the partition is correct? Partition of India was the outcome of two nation theory. ये तो correct है. Punjab and Bengal were two provinces divided on the basis of religion. Yes. East Pakistan and West Pakistan were not contiguous. The scheme of partition included a plan for transfer of population across the border. No, there was this transfer of border, and it was not contiguous because there was mainland of India. So C would be the answer here. So you can see these questions. If you do not understand them, please let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And just go through it. Whatever your doubts are, please feel free to ask me. And the next chapter, that is era of one party dominance, I'll start in the next video. I hope I'm able to reach out to you and to explain these things which I want to. Any questions you have regarding this exercise, read them, let me know. I'll answer it in the video itself in the next class. Bye for now.